This is the early bird crit. My teammate Christopher and I kept up the tradition of rolling across the bridge over to Fremont to the race start. And this is already a few laps in. It's really aggressive at the start. And there's already a group of 5 up the road containing some really fast guys. I'm in this little chase group. I'm not doing any work because my teammate Christopher is in the break of 5 up the road. But that group of 5 is rotating, and even though my teammate's sitting on, they're still pulling away, and I'm getting a little anxious here because 3-second gap has turned into a 5-second gap, has turned into like a 7 or 10-second gap, so I need to get across. That seems to be the move of the day, and I've missed it, so I'm going to try to get across here without dragging either of these 2 guys up the road with me. And that means I have to put in a sudden acceleration to establish a gap to make sure that they're not sitting in my draft. And it hurts because it's definitely not the most efficient way to chase. But I have to make sure that I'm not going to bring 2 more guys that could potentially win the race up to the front group for free in my draft. And this effort to get across, when I was right about here, I was about halfway there. I didn't know if I was going to make it, honestly. This was probably the hardest effort of the race for me, just to get across to this move. And it's mostly my fault because I probably waited about a half a lap too long. And you can see as I approach the group here, my teammate is just sitting at the back. He's not contributing to this group. He knows I'm back there. He knows I'm going to probably try to get across. And this is the move right here. This is this 6-man breakaway that stayed away till the end. And I'm cooked at this point though, just from that effort. And I'm telling Christopher right here that I'm gassed. And he's a great breakaway rider, so you can see he immediately attacks. And this really could have gone one of 2 ways. Again, I'm exhausted. I'm really vulnerable in this position right here because, if there's some big surges in speed at this point, I could get dropped. But Christopher rolls off the front, and then these guys, nobody follows. They all just kind of get into a rotation, which I have no obligation to take part in. I can just sit at the back and get a good draft because I'm not obviously chasing my teammate down who's off the front. So this really couldn't have gone better for me. I get to rest up after that hard effort, and it's just another example of how teamwork is so important in this sport. So my teammate Christopher is eventually brought back, and not too long after, Gavin, right here on my left from Mark Pro, a super strong guy, he counterattacks, and I yell at Christopher, and Christopher just immediately goes again, slaying himself off the front, which is awesome. I get to rest even more, and it forces these other 3 guys to chase, which is super annoying, but this is just good, solid team tactics. And notice how I sit at the back here. I'm not trying to roll through and slow down this chase group, even though I have a teammate up the road. There's no rule saying that you can't do that. It's just poor form, and this is the way that you're supposed to do it. Just let a gap open, let the people who are rotating slot back in and benefit from the draft. So the funniest thing happens. This Dolce guy gets tired of chasing and decides that he's unhappy with me. He wants me to be chasing my own teammate down, and that's just not going to happen. So as the gap opens up, I try to sprint across without him in an attempt to drop him, but he actually catches back on with some lapped riders, so it doesn't really work out. And in the process, my teammate is caught. So now it's just Gavin up the road, but it only has about 5 seconds. So Gavin's still up the road, 5 or 10 seconds. We're in this dysfunctional chase group of 5, my teammate and I, and people are skipping poles, and Gavin's lead is stretching out a little bit, and I think people are looking at us, at Christopher and I, to make sure that we set the pace. I think the pressure's kind of on us, so I kind of want to take it to them. So I put in some attacks here to try to get away, just like Christopher was doing for me earlier on in the race. Allow Christopher to sit back while I maybe extend a gap, maybe even bridge up to Gavin. And again, this Dolce guy is just not happy with me. He's hoping that me and Christopher, I think, just drag him up to Gavin and then to the end. So I just keep doing the same thing and keep it really surgy like this, which again is really inefficient way to chase, but it beats the alternative of just sitting at the front burning matches while these other guys get rested and we chase down Gavin. So after Gavin is caught, we are all 6 of us back together again with only 3, maybe 4 laps remaining. But Gavin likes his chances better from a smaller group, so he goes again. And this time I'm definitely going to respond to it. First Adam goes. I jump on his wheel. And then I just punched it really hard again. I just want to make sure I can get a gap this time. I'm not dragging anybody. And hard effort here, but I just want to get up to Gavin. This is looking really good. People are tired from chasing. We're 50 minutes or something into the race. And at this point, I'm thinking I have a teammate behind and the Dolce guy who doesn't want to chase, and then the other two guys who have done a whole ton of work. So I'm going to commit to this because I don't see who behind is going to be able to pull us back. And after a quick chat with Gavin, I just get to the front, put my head down and do one really hard pull, and then Gavin, he follows suit shortly after, and just like that, the race was down to two of us. Alright, so we maintain our advantage, and we come into the last K, just the two of us. And you know, Gavin is a strong sprinter, so I try to get sneaky with him, and I let a little gap open up, just a small one, and then I really tried to punch it hard and come around him with some speed with just about 200 meters to go. Check it out.